All right, the great Peter Queally ahead of Bellator 299, back in the three arena again. I suppose let's start from the start. The last time we saw you was out in February, and I know that you were still on coming off the back of a lot of injuries. It was a very tough build up to the previous fight and then that one. Talk me through how this last kind of 6 months has gone for you.
It's gone very well, Donna. Thankfully, I've the last three fights actually have been awful for me. I haven't been healthy since I fought Patricky the first time. So even the title fight, the shoulder problem started beginning that summer after I fought him, and I needed surgery on it when I fought him. But I obviously you just have to take these opportunities when they're there, and I did that. So I wasn't really right for that one. Then I had the surgery on my shoulder after that fight. And in hindsight, I thought I was kind of okay when I fought Ben, but in hindsight, thinking back on it, I had no business fighting that fight. And that one annoys me because it was a bad performance. You can kind of see it in the fight that I didn't really fight very well. And then it still wasn't right when I fought Logan.
Bryce Logan, yeah.
Bryce Logan. And it's only since around May this year that it's after kind of getting back to normal. And even the Bryce Logan one was even worse because I actually tore my LCL 4 weeks out from that fight as well. So I didn't train good or bad for that one. So that was an awful build up as well. But yeah, but I feel really good. I've actually trained hard for this one. I've grappled a lot. I've sparred a lot. I've done all the things you should be doing. My last camps are made up of just doing the skier and doing the rower and hitting pads and things and just trying to get training in around the problems I had. So I'm looking forward to kind of reminding everyone I'm still here. I'm still good. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's what I was interested in knowing, and it's good that you bring that up because to the outsider looking in, the great nights you've had, you know, at this point now that you're in Bellator, the money you've made as well, some decent money in some of these fights, and I was wondering with the injuries, with everything that's going through, was there a point on the night back in the 25th of February where maybe you thought, God, is it worth it? Why am I putting myself through this physically, mentally, all of this stuff? Was there a point where you thought maybe is this worth it?
Yeah, there was. I kind of more or less told Artem in the dressing room afterwards. I was like, that's it. I might do one more. I said, just to kind of whatever, I'll do another one. But I said, that's kind of it. I'm done. I'm just shagged. I still have a passion for this. My body is kind of done. And I felt that way for the months after that fight, to be honest, until just it started feeling better. It was the shoulder was the main thing, the knee and stuff. These things, I've torn ligaments in my knees many times over the years, and they heal. But this shoulder thing, I don't know. Maybe there is other fighters that have had this labrum tear thing. I don't know, was it as bad for them? And I had a bicep tear as well. I had a double surgery, and I actually had to go back in then. It didn't really work. So I had that surgery in March of last year. Then I had to go back in. When you hear this, right? So I had that surgery in March. Then, so what they did was they repaired my labrum, and then they repaired my bicep as well. So I had a bicep tear as well. So they did that too. In July, the bicep retore.
Jesus.
Right? I was walking into my house, like not doing that. I had my gear bag in my hand in my house, and I felt this like, I was like, oh my God. I looked in the mirror, and my bicep was like hanging down.
God almighty.
It retore. So I actually went back in. So you remember, I fought Ben in September. I went back in for surgery in July. And they drilled, and wait to hear what they did. They drilled a hole through my humerus. Is that the bone up here? Yeah, your arm bone.
I'm sure I don't know all my body.
They drilled a hole through my fucking arm bone, and they stuffed the top of the tendon in through that hole, and they kind of fastened it in with a kind of a bolt at the back. And that I had that done in July. So July, August, September.
Yeah.
And then I fought Ben with that. So it was awful. But to answer your question, yes. Now I don't think like that at all. Now how long can I go? I feel really good. So I've kind of totally put that on my mind. I'm really looking forward now to kind of doing this one and having a great performance, and I will have a great performance. Wait and see. I'm going to kill this lad. I feel really good.
You know
I
what?
feel like I did a few years ago. So
I feel bad for poor old Daniela, man. I'm sure he's a nice fella. I'm sure he's a good lad, but I'd feel bad for if they put you in with anyone on this night in Dublin after everything you've been through. I'd feel bad for whoever it was because they're going to get a bit of a beating, aren't they?
yeah, no, honestly, because like you know me now, I never have this Instagram post after the
No.
loss. Oh, this, that, the other thing. I always just congratulate my opponent, and that's it. But you know, in the fullness of time, I do feel like I should say this now, that how bad it's been for me over the years. But I have trained properly for this one. I really have. This is the first camp in 3 fights that I've actually, you know, gone into the gym and sparred and grappled and do all the things you need to do to get good at fighting. Other than that, it was a lot of fitness training, a lot of just rehabbing and things, and trying to not get worse. And so, you know, you're going to see a different version of me now for this one. You really are.
There's so many of those spars that like you hear about. Like I was just talking to Simeon Powell today, like him and Johnny Walker sparring, and then like obviously the Connor and Ian one, and then you and Asiela Jude I saw on Instagram as well. Like
Yeah.
To be a fly on the wall at SPG one of them days, it would be unbelievable. The amount of the names you get in there in sparring.
I was just actually saying to John yesterday, there was another very good spar yesterday, and I was just saying to John, I said, you're on a roll here with the kind of spars. Because sometimes I give out to him because he has this group on Facebook where we just chat or whatever, but also at the start of the week he creates a thread to put in your time for sparring. So you book your slot in the cage, or whatever. And sometimes you'll see a sparring like, ooh, I'm gonna make sure I'm in to see that one. Yeah. And but sometimes they disappoint. They're not that great. They're not what you expect. But
it's only sparring, you know.
He's on a very good run at the moment. He's delivering, so he is. So it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like everything is going unbelievably at the gym at the moment. And of course, we get 9 fighters again on this Bellator card. I mean, you don't spend all your time in HQ though, right? You spend a lot of your time at your own gym in Naas.
Yeah, no, I spend a lot of time in John's as well, but I do train in my own gym too. My gym is at the stage now where my guys are actually getting really good, so I can train with them as well. There's a few lads there that are just about to go pro now and things, and I get great spars in my own gym, and our jiu-jitsu and wrestling is very strong in our own gym as well, so I can do that there too. But I'm probably still in John's every morning of the week, Monday to Friday. I might miss one maybe, but I'm there most days still.
Given your name value and the amount that you bring to these shows in Dublin, I wonder, I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword because you win this one, all of a sudden, they'll probably have you in the rankings again. You'll probably be, they'll be going, oh, well, you could fight this name or that name or whoever. But then on the other side, it's like, I remember saying to you before the Bryce Logan fight, no, like if you win that fight, no one's going to give you the credit. Do you remember when we were at the Christmas thing last year? And I was saying like, you'll beat him and you won't get the credit, or if it doesn't go your way, people will be, crapping on you and stuff. But it is kind of interesting how having that name can kind of impact you positively and negatively.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're dead right. Sometimes you don't get the credit, and then when you take a little misstep, everyone's crapping on you, as you said. And I've experienced a lot of that now, to be honest, over the last couple of fights, where I'm seeing people crapping on me online, and people who you thought perhaps were on your side, maybe, and now they're not so much on your side. So it's kind of, but that's normal, you know what I mean? People love a winner, and they're very quick to kind of, turn their back on you, I think, sometimes. But I don't really care, to be honest. I'm just going to go out and do my own thing here. Like I said, I'm looking forward to kind of reminding everyone how good I am, and I'm also looking forward to, reminding the fans that how good I am, because they've stuck with me. No matter, do you know what I mean? They always stick with me, and you get some idiots saying stupid things, but for the most part, it's all so nice what people say, and especially like say after a big kind of a moment where you've lost or whatever. If you look at your comment section on Twitter and things, it's just like a cesspool. What you want to do is you want to just stay home and stay away from everyone and blah blah. But the best thing you can do is actually get out and go to Tesco and go and do your shopping and things. Because what you'll get is people coming up to you well done, and
Yeah.
that's a totally different experience. That's all I get when I'm out and about.
Well, they
It's
were
just
just
people,
as loud going into this Bryce Logan fight after
yeah,
2 losses as they were after, the Ryan Scope fight. Like, these people love you in the 3 arena, no matter how the results go.
yeah. So, like I said, that's I'm looking forward now to give them something to really share about this time. So, and I will, I really will. When you see this, I'm going to be back to myself. I can't wait. I'm back to myself. That's all I can say, and I'm going to do really well in this one.
I was talking to Kiefer about how, like, when he was fighting last week, I was saying, like, I would ask you about the opponent, except that it always changes for you guys, doesn't it? Like, this Daniela probably won't end up being the opponent next week. It'll probably be like, you know how it goes with you guys. I mean, Kiefer's had it worse than anyone with all the
Yeah.
changes and everything, but you've had it as well in the past where you're going to fight this guy and then someone else steps in. But how much of Daniela have you watched? And I suppose, given historically how that's gone in your career, how much do you put into focusing on like tape or the opponent personally?
I don't put that much into it personally. I normally just watch a bit of their fights. I get a feel for generally what they kind of do, but I don't like study them and go, oh, he's going to do this and he does this when I do this, and when the guy throws a left hook, he does this, because that can all change on the night. And I think that can kind of be a bad idea in my opinion sometimes. So I just kind of get a feel for them. Okay, he likes to do this, likes to do that. It's generally kind of what I'm expecting, and then I don't really pay too much attention to them after that. I do think he will show up. He hasn't pulled out of.
Yeah.
If you look at his technology, he shows up. So I think he will be there. So.
You know what, Peter? I've done a lot of good journalism today. I've asked some good questions. Now for some stupid ones.
Go on, I always look forward to these from you.
Your pal
I know
Dillon.
what it's going to be. It's going to be something to do with Dillon Danis.
It's of course going to be to do with Dillon. How did you watch his face off the other day? And are you excited for this fight in Manchester?
I am. To be honest, I'm super excited. I'm super happy for him. He's after doing a 180. Like 2 months ago, people hated his fucking guts. Do you know what I mean? And people love him again now. Great. It's so good. He's after really kind of just capturing everyone with this. And like I always say this about Dillon, that people cry about him and kind of whatever, they say what they say about him. But a lot of fighters could learn from Dillon, because look at him. I actually said something the other day. I said on Twitter, there's no one better. I said, like, he's the best in the world, in my opinion, at generating interest for his fights. Yeah. And I stand by that. He is. And
he doesn't even have to get in the cage of the ring. He just has to do the build-up.
Yeah, and people said, oh, fights, what fights? He never fights. And I said, yeah, that's my point. He never even fights, and he can still generate this interest. It's crazy how good he is. Like, can you imagine if he was fighting regularly and winning on a regular basis, how popular he'd be? Because he hasn't fought since 2019. And still, this feels like the biggest fight there has been this year, perhaps, in terms of build-up. It's all I see on my Twitter and stuff.
It's much bigger than the main event.
Way bigger. I forget there is a main event sometimes. I'm like, do you know what I mean? I have to kind of remind myself that that's not the main event. Well, that is the main event, really. But yeah, I'm delighted for him, because I'm obviously good friends with Dillon, and it's like you always like to see your friends riding high and doing well, and he is doing well now again. So I'm really excited for it.
You boxed with him, and I remember when you boxed with him last, I think it was like New York, around the time of the Patricki 1 fight.
It was just after that, yeah. I went down to see him after that fight, and I spent a bit of time with him.
And I remember you saying at that time, like, oh, well, maybe before we boxed, I was kind of bigging him up a bit, but after actually being in the ring with him, you reckon he would take a lot of these YouTube guys, these Jake Pauls, these Logans, and I'd imagine you're standing by that, and you think he's gonna stop Logan.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll be honest now, right? I'll tell you what it is with this Logan one. It'll depend on how much Dillon has trained, right? Now, he tells me he's training. I want to believe him, and I do believe him, but that's what it'll come down to. Logan is not great. He's not that good at boxing, to be honest. I think Dillon is much better than him.
And Jake's much better than him.
Jake is much better than Logan, yes. So I think Logan's not great. I don't think he can box very well. He is big and strong, and he's physically fit. And this skill set can beat someone with a good boxing skill set any day of the week if the other guy hasn't trained. So that's what it'll come down to. Dillon, I think, is better than him. Dillon is tough as well. I've seen Dillon spar a lot of tough people over the years, and he comes up short in some of them. He wins some of them. Whatever, as we all do in our spars, that's what it's for. But he never ever gives up, or You know, he's tough. He can take a dig, and he'll be in that fight. So it'll just come down to how hard he has trained. I think if he has trained really hard and he's got like he's taken the smacks and sparring and he's conditioned himself and he's got good fitness and things, I can see him winning this. Definitely can see him winning this. If he hasn't trained, then someone that big and strong can kind of wear you out and bully you a bit and kind of get their thing going or whatever. But so that's kind of my opinion. I think he can win it if he's trained hard.
Are you gonna go?
Yeah.
It's gonna be an unbelievable night over in the I mean, he has built this thing where, like you say, he was the villain a couple of weeks ago, and now through doing villainous stuff, like bullying Logan's girlfriend and all this stuff, he's not doing nice stuff. Everyone, a lot of people I see online are backing him to win.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's great fun, but it's kind of awful in a way of what he's doing. But people love it. And a part of it is because people hate Logan, you know. So that's part of it too. So they want to, but I think it's just because it's so refreshing and it's so fun when someone is kind of getting people emotionally invested in a fight like this, that they want to root for him now. And he is funny. You can say what you want. Joe, he did well. He's really good on Twitter. We all know that, but like he actually did really well, I thought, at the press conference.
Yes.
He won that too, which I wasn't as confident of him winning that. Do you know what I mean? Because like that's a hard thing to do, be up on stage that and still be that quick-witted and get those little quick punches in, little quick one-liners in. And he did. He absolutely mauled them in that. And I think
they wouldn't even face him off afterwards. It was such a bad beatdown.
Yeah, he beat him down. So like I think that's what people like as well, because because that's hard to do, you know, and you show a bit of charisma and a bit of whatever when you do that, and it's endearing and people like this. So I thought he was great there. That was they haven't put a foot wrong with any of them, to be honest with this.
Did you see their video the other day with the face off where the gloves are off type thing?
Yeah, I didn't see it all. I saw clips that Logan put up, and I saw clips that Dillon put up, and they both look very bad for each other. So I was actually watching in depth and see who won that one, but I haven't actually seen that one yet. But Dillon told me that they edited that heavily or something. He was saying that they, so which you'd expect. So, but the clips I saw now, he seems to have done well on that one too. So, and again, that's a hard thing to do as well. And that's a guy that's media trained, this Logan Paul. Let's remember, he's in the WWE. So they would have extensive training on how to, kind of talk to the audience and how to kind of whatever. So that's impressive as well when you're going toe to toe with a guy like that. That's trained for this, you know.
When he's on this
Dillon has trained himself in his mirror, I think. Watching Tony Montana videos and fucking whatever else he's doing.
When he's here, when he's like, I don't know if he's going to finish out his camp here or anything like that, but when he's like on this side of the world, will you kind of have a word in his ear and say, now you've had your fun, this has been great, you've made a lot of money, but come on, back to the cage, let's show everyone these jiu-jitsu credentials, and that you are like a legitimately, like, I mean, there was a point where people thought, he's legitimately he's one of the best in the world of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I will. But I already do. I said it to him already. He's getting a lot of money for this one. So whatever, that is what it is. Of course you're going to do it. But what I told him is, especially now, the way this thing is trending. My God, if he wins this, like, he'll have his pick of what he wants to do next. He will. He really will. That'll be the danger. To be honest, if he wins this, it'll probably be another boxing match because the money will be astronomical to do it again. Like, it's probably the winner of this KSI and Tommy or whatever, you'd imagine, and the money will double, I'm sure. So, because they can see how many eyeballs he's bringing on the thing. He's promoting it on his own. He really is. So I have a bad feeling he'll box again after this, to be honest. But I would like to see him do MMA. He's amazing in MMA. That's his bread and butter. That's what can be a world champion in, I think.
This world is getting more popular with you guys at the gym. Kiefer was involved too. I mean, Kiefer's the kind of person I never would have seen. I mean, maybe you are the only person I would have seen less likely to get involved in this kind of thing than Kiefer Crosby, but he was over as well. You never thought about it? You never thought it'd be a lot easier on the limbs training boxing only?
No, I have thought of it. I would do it because I'm not against it. I actually went to that show and I enjoyed it. It was brilliant. I thought that thing. It was great. But I would definitely do it. It's just that I'm kind of focused on MMA now. But no, I would definitely do it. I think it is easier on the body to train boxing. Artem said the same thing when he was training for bare knuckle. And Keane said the same thing because he did this. He actually came out to me out in Ace to do cardio because he said he felt like he was cheating. The training was so easy that he wanted to come out and me do something disgusting with him, and we did. So that's what he said, and I believe it as well. It definitely is easier on the body. Yeah, no, I'm all for it. I would do it, and like I said, I enjoyed that. I went to that very skeptical, to be honest. Keane got me really good ringside tickets, and I went to it just to support the lads, and I went kind of skeptical, thinking this will be shite. But then I fucking loved it. I walked in, there was a girl with her tits out, fucking straight away. Literally, I walked in. That was the first thing I saw.
Yeah.
I was like, I turned to my friend who was it. I was like, this is going to be excellent. This is amazing. I can't believe this. And it was great. And you know what was good about it as well? It was a great atmosphere in there because the Brazilian community. Were you at this?
Yeah, I was there. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Peter. You know, I'm not going to go to the real Bellator fights. I'll go to this stuff.
Yeah. So, but the Brazilian community really turned out for it because they had this girl, whatever her name was, Jolie or something, or Polka Jolie,
yeah,
or whatever
Polka,
her name was.
yeah, and Winderson.
Jesus Christ. It was like fucking I was walking out or something. It was maybe better than when I was walking out. It felt incredible, didn't it? It was really crazy atmosphere there. So I enjoyed it. I definitely go to that again. And I would fight in that as well. So we'll see.
It's going to be interesting. But first off, Bellator 299, September the 23rd at the Tree Arena against Daniele Michelli. Finally, like, do you think you'll stop? He'll have to get stopped, won't he?
I think I will. He's tough guy, but he's a bit untested. This will be his first time fighting someone really good,
world level.
Yeah. So, and that can come crashing down on you very quickly when you're in there, and you haven't felt that before. So I think I will stop him. I think I will KO him within the 15 minutes. I'd be very confident of that.
Did you see the famous Ian Gary spar in SBG when you were there?
I didn't see it at all.
Yeah, he's doing great though, isn't he?
Yeah, he's doing amazing. He's bloody brilliant. He is. He's so good. He doesn't really get the support for whatever reason. People don't seem to be behind him for whatever, which is.
They'll love him when he loses.
How good he is, do you know what I mean? Because you can see when I watch him, I'm like, holy shit, the speed of him and all, the boxing and things. You know
how Irish people are. He'll lose one and then they'll like him.
Maybe. I don't know what it is. It's interesting actually, especially Irish people, because we do. In fairness, they do kind of get behind us for whatever reason. He is, but people are getting behind him in general. He is kind of popular. I think people are starting to see. It's time that they're getting behind him. They can see how good he is. That's people love when someone's good, and he is good. So,
and of course, I always have to ask your prediction for the Michael Chandler fight when it ever happens, or if it'll ever happen.
Listen, it's again the same thing. If Conor is Conor, like if you look back to stylistically, that kind of opponent for Conor, like there's not a chance. If you like say Mendes or these kind of people who it's kind of a very tough, explosive guy, but it's kind of rudimentary striking. Conor just eats them alive normally. So as long as he trains, as long as he puts the effort in, he actually shows up as even a fraction of what he's capable of. That's a pretty easy fight, I think.